10 simple tips that will force your body to accelerate muscle growth. It works even if you don't have good genetics. Don't worry, this won't be one of those cliché videos telling you to drink more water, eat better, or sleep 8 hours a night, which we know YouTube is full of. These are tips that really aren't known to those who don't usually study weight training and hypertrophy in depth. Stay tuned until the end, because all of them are backed by science and the latest studies. Today you'll see 10 proven strategies that will transform your results in the gym. Before we start, please tell us in the comments your name and the city where you're watching our content from. We'd love to know. Number 1. Train in movement deficit, not repetition deficit. Most people train by counting fixed repetitions, 3 sets of 10, 4 sets of 8, and so on. The problem is that your body doesn't function like a metronome. Some days you're stronger, other days weaker, and being stuck to rigid numbers wastes your growth potential. A smarter approach is to train thinking about repetitions in reserve. Instead of stopping at 10 repetitions because your program says so, you stop when you're 1 or 2 repetitions away from muscular failure, regardless of whether that happens at repetition 8, 10, or 12. This ensures you're always training with adequate intensity to stimulate hypertrophy. Science confirms this strategy. Studies show that what really matters for muscle growth is getting close to failure, not a magic number of repetitions. When you train close to your limit, you maximize muscle fiber recruitment and create the necessary stimulus for adaptation. This approach also naturally self-adjusts. If you're progressing in strength, you'll achieve more repetitions before reaching those 1 or 2 repetitions from failure. It's a smarter and more adaptive way to train that respects the variability of the human body. You don't get eternally stuck in that mentality of, I've done 12, so time to stop, when in reality you could do 15 or 16 and generate even more growth stimulus. An important detail: save reaching complete failure only for the last set of each exercise. In previous sets, always maintain those 1 or 2 repetitions in reserve. This allows maintaining execution quality and accumulating adequate training volume without compromising recovery. Number 2. Know how to use the middle ground between execution and load. Let's be fair here. Execution matters a lot, very much indeed. Control of the eccentric phase, complete range of motion, all of this is fundamental to maximize hypertrophy. However, load is also extremely important. The problem is that many make the mistake of focusing only on one aspect and completely giving up the other. You've probably seen that person who loads up the bar with weight and does bizarre execution, with half range of motion and using their whole body to swing the weight. On the other hand, there's someone who puts very light weight and executes ultra slowly, taking 10 seconds on each repetition, transforming the workout into something more meditative than stimulating. The ideal is to seek an intelligent middle ground, a good, challenging load, but one you can still master in terms of range of motion and eccentric control. You need to feel the muscle working, not just move weight any which way. At the same time, you need to progressively challenge that muscle with loads that really create mechanical tension. In practice, this means choosing a weight that allows executing the complete movement, with control on the descent, but that's still challenging in the last repetitions. If you can do 15 perfect repetitions when the goal is 10, the weight is too light. If you need to use momentum and compensations on the 5th repetition, it's too heavy. Progression should happen slowly and consistently. Increase the load when you can execute all sets with the planned repetitions. Maintaining impeccable technique. Sometimes, this means adding only 5.5 pounds or even less. Patience and consistency surpass haste and ego in the gym. Number 3. Implement strategic deload every 4 to 8 weeks. Training heavy constantly without planned breaks leads to accumulated fatigue, elevated risk of injuries, and potential overtraining. Many people believe that progressing means always increasing intensity, but the body needs periods of systemic recovery to continue growing. A deload is a planned week where you reduce volume, doing 30 to 50% fewer sets, or reduce intensity, using weights 40 to 60% lighter. This isn't a lazy week. You still train, but in a regenerative way, allowing your body to recover completely. Physiologically, the deload allows tendons, ligaments, and central nervous system to recover completely. Intense training creates fatigue that often masks your real gains in strength and muscle mass. After a well-executed deload, you often come back stronger because you've eliminated that layer of accumulated fatigue. Signs that you need a deload include consistent drop in performance in workouts, persistent joint pains that don't go away, chronic fatigue even with adequate sleep, sleep disturbances, and significant loss of motivation to train. Ignoring these signs leads to stagnation or even regression. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will make you progress healthily in the long term in the world of weight training. Elite athletes and professional bodybuilders regularly plan deloads in their periodizations. You should do the same. Remember, muscle growth happens during recovery, not just during training stimulus. Respect this process. Number 4. Train with higher frequency. Many people still follow the traditional model of dividing the body into specific muscle groups and training each only once a week. The famous Monday chest, Tuesday back, and so on. However, this model leaves a lot of growth potential on the table. Muscle protein synthesis stays elevated for approximately 24 to 48 hours after an adequate training stimulus. After that period, it returns to baseline levels. This means that by training a muscle group only once a week, you're essentially leaving that muscle idle for 5 to 6 days without significant anabolic stimulus. A meta-analysis published in Sports Medicine analyzed 10 studies comparing different training frequencies and concluded that training each muscle group 2 to 3 times a week resulted in significantly greater hypertrophy gains compared to a single weekly session, even when total training volume was equalized between groups. The key to successfully implementing higher frequency is an adequate management of volume and intensity per session. When you train a muscle group more frequently, the volume per session should be proportionally reduced to avoid overtraining. For example, if you normally do 16 sets for chest once a week, when changing to twice weekly, you could do 8 sets in each session. This adjustment in training frequency can be especially beneficial for individuals who feel they've hit a plateau in their muscular development. Increasing frequency keeps the muscle in an anabolic state longer throughout the week, potentializing growth. Number 5. Don't be afraid to consume fats. Many people in the dieting phase demonize dietary fats, but they're definitely not the problem when it comes to body composition. In fact, eliminating fats can seriously harm your hypertrophy results and overall health. There are good fats and bad fats. Trans fats and excess saturated fats are harmful and should be limited. However, unsaturated fats, especially monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, are essential for numerous bodily functions, including hormonal production. Testosterone, a fundamental hormone for muscle growth, is synthesized from cholesterol. Very low-fat diets reduce testosterone levels, harming your gains. Additionally, fats are necessary for absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, all important for bone health, immunity, and muscle function. Examples of excellent sources of good fats include extra virgin olive oil, avocado, walnuts, almonds, cashews, fatty fish like salmon and sardines, chia, and flax seeds. These foods provide essential fatty acids that your body cannot produce on its own. The general recommendation is to consume approximately 1 gram of fat per kilogram of body weight daily. For someone of 176 pounds, this would be 80 grams of fat per day. This ensures adequate hormonal support, cardiovascular health, and nutrient absorption without compromising your body composition goals. Number 6. Beware of excessive cardio. Some people seeking to improve body composition, especially when they want to lose weight, end up thinking that cardio is the main solution. They make the serious mistake of staying longer than they should on the treadmill, bike, stairs, and other aerobic equipment. The problem is that excessive cardio can negatively impact hypertrophy. When you do too much cardio, the body activates metabolic pathways that interfere with the anabolic processes necessary for muscle growth. In simple terms, you're sending contradictory signals. Grow and get bigger through strength training, but be efficient and conserve energy through excessive cardio. From a hormonal point of view, excessive cardio can increase cortisol levels, the stress hormone. When chronically elevated, cortisol promotes muscle degradation and hinders recovery. Additionally, intense cardio competes for the same energetic and nutritional resources that your body needs to repair and build muscles. The solution is to opt for moderate and controlled cardio. 30 to 45 minutes of moderate walking 3 to 4 times a week is perfect for maintaining cardiovascular health and helping with caloric deficit without harming muscle gains. A study from the University of Tampa showed that individuals who did moderate cardio for more more than 45 minutes, more than 4 times a week, had significantly smaller gains compared to those who limited it to 3 or 4 short weekly sessions. If your main goal is hypertrophy, treat cardio as a complementary tool, not as the protagonist of your training program. Prioritize weight training and use cardio strategically for overall health. Number 7. Strengthen yourself with compound exercises. Unlike isolation exercises that work only one specific muscle group, compound movements like squat, deadlift, bench press, and pull-ups recruit multiple muscle groups simultaneously. This allows lifting much heavier loads, generating more mechanical tension in the muscles, one of the main triggers for muscle growth. A study showed that people who focused on compound exercises for 12 weeks had significantly greater gains in strength and hypertrophy compared to those who concentrated primarily on isolation exercises. The difference is expressive and has a clear physiological explanation. Additionally, these movements have an impressive hormonal impact. A heavy squat can elevate testosterone levels by up to 200% compared to a leg extension with the same perceived effort. This acute hormonal peak contributes to an anabolic environment favorable to growth. Compound exercises also improve intermuscular coordination, functional strength, and bone density in a superior way to isolations. They teach your body to work as an integrated unit, not just disconnected individual muscles. This doesn't mean completely abandoning isolation exercises. They have their valuable place for refining specific areas, correcting muscular imbalances, and adding volume to muscles that need extra attention. An efficient hypertrophy program should have at least 50% compound exercises as a structural base, strategically complemented with isolations. Number 8. Use training periodization. Doing the same workout indefinitely, without any planned variation, leads to inevitable plateaus. Your body is an incredible adaptation machine, and when you always present the same stimulus, it stops responding with growth. Periodization solves this problem. Periodization means systematically varying volume, intensity, and type of training over time in a planned and structured way. A simple example: 4 to 6 weeks focusing on hypertrophy with 8 to 12 repetitions and high volume. Then 3 to 4 weeks focusing on strength with 4 to 6 repetitions and heavier loads, followed perhaps by a metabolic phase with 15 to 20 repetitions and short rests. Each phase develops different physiological adaptations that complement each other synergistically. The strength phase increases your capacity to lift greater loads, which you can then use in the following hypertrophy phase to generate more mechanical tension. The metabolic phase improves muscular work capacity and mitochondrial density. Meta-analyses show that periodization produces superior gains to linear workouts without programmed variation. Beyond physiological benefits, periodization prevents injuries from overuse of the same movement patterns and keeps training mentally stimulating, combating boredom and loss of motivation. Your body needs controlled and intentional variety to continue adapting. Periodization provides exactly that, keeping you constantly progressing instead of stagnated in the same place. Number 9. Distribute protein consumption well. That you need to consume proteins and hit a daily goal, you probably already know. What many don't know is that the distribution of protein intake throughout the day is as important as the total amount consumed. It doesn't help much for you to go all day without consuming proteins and want to compensate by eating everything at night all at once. 60 grams of protein consumed at once is not twice as effective as consuming 30 grams, but distributing those 60 grams in 2 meals, separated by a few hours, can potentially be significantly better. A study compared 2 groups consuming the same total daily protein amount, 120 grams. One group consumed 30 grams in each of 4 meals, while another consumed 20 grams at breakfast, 25 grams at lunch, 45 grams at dinner, and 30 grams before sleeping. After 12 weeks, the group with more balanced distribution showed significantly greater muscle mass gains despite identical total caloric and protein intake. The explanation lies in the anabolic window created after protein consumption, which lasts approximately 3 to 5 hours. By distributing your protein intake in 4 to 6 meals throughout the day, separated by 3 to 4 hours, you essentially keep your body in an anabolic state, longer, maximizing muscular growth potential. In practice, seek to consume at least 20 to 30 grams of high-quality protein in each main meal. This guarantees constant stimulus of muscle protein synthesis throughout the entire day, not just in 1 or 2 concentrated peaks. Number 10. Make use of creatine. Our body already produces creatine naturally through the liver, kidneys, and pancreas, but not in sufficient quantity to optimize performance and muscle growth. Creatine is also present in some foods, especially red meats and fish, but still not in quantities sufficient to completely saturate muscle stores. That's why creatine monohydrate supplementation is so valuable. Creatine helps regenerate ATP, the energy currency of cells, allowing you to execute more repetitions with heavy loads and recover more quickly between sets. This translates directly into more stimulus for hypertrophy over time. Beyond the benefits for physical performance, recent studies show that creatine also offers impressive cognitive and neurological benefits. It improves brain function, memory, and can even help in neurodegenerative conditions. It's a complete supplement for body and mind. Now let's break the common myths. Some think creatine causes hair loss. There's no solid scientific evidence supporting this claim. Others believe it harms the kidneys. Again, extensive studies show that creatine is completely safe for healthy kidneys at any age range. Creatine is the most studied supplement in sports nutrition history, with literally thousands of studies proving safety and efficacy. I'm not saying this because I want to sell something, but rather because these really are conclusions based on solid science. The recommended dose is 3 to 5 grams daily, every day, regardless of training or not. If you liked this and also want to discover the other supplement that, besides creatine, is the only one worth investing in, we've left a video appearing right now on the screen, showing better what that supplement is. Don't miss checking it out. Thank you for watching until here, and may God bless you, my friend.